Thank you, Chairman. I wish I could take out my watch and look at the calendar all the time listening to you. It can go on for days and I would be very happy to listen to you. It is really interesting. I'm supposed to talk briefly on FinTech. What I will do is, instead of going through the presentation, I'll tell you what FinTech is, where it is headed now, what are the happening areas in FinTech, why is it critical for CMAs and what role can CMAs play, what are the challenges ahead of us. And as an angel investor and a mentor for some of the startups, this is my fourth phase of the career actually. After working in global corporates for close to 20 years, I set up 2 incubators which are very successful in deep tech, where we provide 360-degree support to startups. Then it was the case of best man becoming the bridegroom. I turned an entrepreneur, had a couple of ventures, sold out a couple of ventures. Then in the fourth phase of my career, I'm mentoring startups, I'm doing some angel investments. So I'll tell you some interesting stories from some of the fintech startups that I'm associated with, which would be some sort of a takeaway for you. So quickly, what we mean by fintech, fintech is a portmanteau of financial services and technology. The conjunction of these two is what fintech is all about. How technology is transforming the provision and availing of financial services is the key. And here, the typical domains that we are seeing where there is plenty of growth, the first one is what is called neo-banking. What exactly is neo-banking, or what we call layer 2 banking, is the last mile is served by these companies which act as an interface for multiple banks for multiple services and provide one-stop shop, right? There are many companies which have become unicorns now. They provide all the services which are required by the end customer, be it in insurance, investment, lending, other financial services. All the products are given across various banks' products, across various service providers' products are given and serviced by the person who is in the last mile, these companies which go to the last mile. This is what we call neo-banking. The second one is the lending tech companies. A very interesting space. Lending tech company, as cost accountants, when you observe, it's a very, CMAs, and when you observe, it's a very interesting space. Many companies which have become lending companies today are companies like, the UPI payment gateway service providers. What they do is they understand the revenue pattern of their customers, how much revenue they are getting, what is the frequency, what is the seasonality. They understand all this, and they tailor-make or customize the financial products, especially the loans for them. I'll tell you the story later on about one of the ventures I'm an advisor to and investor in. And then, of course, you know about the insurance tech companies which are providing insurance services, again, across multiple players and multiple products, no distinction between life, non-life, and all those conventional differences they provide across categories. And these have been able to service all the people who are hitherto untouched. That is the biggest market, right? How do we provide them? Then the lending technology companies also do another thing. They go and be the first reach out point for not only NBFCs but also for microfinance companies. They're able to do the complete process which is involved in lending, what we call KYC, credit rating, all that in a very elegant, cost-effective and digital manner, and able to give qualified leads to the people who are willing to lend. And there's again co-lending possibilities. All that is created by the various lending companies. So insurance companies. Then of course there are other service providers like tax filing, accounting, so many other services which are typically required, which are SaaS-based application companies, apart from, of course, the payment gateway providers and so many other service providers in the fintech space, right? And what are the typical challenges? When I was entering college, I was looking at various career options. I wanted to be a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary. I wanted to take that route. My father said, "Are you stupid? You can't do that. It's a very difficult route. Go to IIT, IIM, that's easier." And that's what I did. I'm very happy today that I'm able to interact with the CMAs. And IIT, IIM, Ivy League schools are stupid in the sense these people don't have the reality check. they really fly off the handle. And that is where the CMAs come in. The unit economics is totally forgotten in most of these enterprises. And that grounding, that firm-footedness can only be provided by people like you with wisdom, with experience, with understanding of the costing. I say this with all humility because, I've been with all these IIT IIMs, and I say this because I've seen people bringing that firm-footedness and the groundedness to through people like you, right? The unit economics is forgotten. That's why the companies which are valued at few tens of billions suddenly are valued at few tens of millions in a matter of few months. How can that happen, right? In a few months, how can things change so drastically when there's no macroeconomic change of that kind of magnitude? And this is really bad for the investors, for the market, for everybody, all the stakeholders. So this check and balance has to be provided by them. And another thing which I want to, want you to understand is, in this, each customer is unique in providing financial services. It's no one-shoe-fits-all kind of an approach. That doesn't work. We understand digitally what each customer wants, what are her preferences, what are her requirements, right? And what are her repayment capabilities. And we tailor the product accordingly. So understanding each customer uniquely, which is not possible in the conventional companies, is possible through fintech. That is another one which I want to give as a message to CMAs. And the third message is, in terms of technology, the cost at some point, initially it's very high. It tapers down only when the volume increases, whether it is moving to cloud, secure clouds, or using other technologies like blockchain, AI, ML. They all require certain minimum scale. Technology for technology's sake doesn't really help. And of course, cyber security. The importance of security can never be understated. In all these digital or fintech companies, the role of security is very important. These are some of the key takeaways which I want you to understand and maybe advise your clients when you go forward for consulting. And to conclude, I'll just narrate some of the stories of the companies which I am associated with. One company has raised $3.5 million and it's on to the next journey. It's so very difficult, even despite all the money, these digital companies burn away money very easily, which again is something which we as CMCs need to come in and check, put checks and balances. See, this company is called Dwara eDairy, where it's an AI, ML, artificial intelligence, ML-based company, where the muzzle of the cattle, the bovine, acts as a unique identity, like a DNA fingerprint. So far, what they've been doing for the cattle is they put an RFID tag on the ear, but one cattle you can't distinguish from another cattle, similar looking cattle. You can change the tag for whether it's for insurance purpose or any other purposes. Whereas the muzzle identity acts as a unique DNA fingerprint with 99.5% accuracy, and also it's a health indicator of the bovine or the cattle, right? It indicates what is the lactation cycle, what is the ideal time for artificial insemination, what are the deficiencies in its nutraceuticals, what are the other health indicators. So we are able to address all this through the muzzle image, right? And here, how it is impacting the dairy industry and the fintech industries. Of course, insurance, I told you about how you are able to insure the cattle with much greater confidence. But in financial technology, we are able to customize the loans based on what is the revenue which is likely to accrue from the cattle, and how can you tailor-make the loan based on the repayment capability of the cattle farmer. We are able to customize the loan and offer it. That is the biggest advantage. So the delinquency ratios are much reduced, and the beneficiary is able to repay without any hassle. So that kind of a easy arrangement of loans. So many other, providing nutraceuticals and other things which are required for the cattle feed in a very cost-effective manner when the scale is achieved. So all these are possible through this kind of fintech company, right? How the fintech is applied to an entirely new domain like dairy industry, and you're able to transform the lives of small and marginal farmers. The last slide, which Professor talked about, Professor Basu. I call him Professor Basu because he's my professor. He talks like he's a professorial touch. It's very important, right? What we do should benefit the person who is the last in the queue, which is what all of us, the modern architect, one of the architects of modern India, he always talked about how we had to keep the last person in the queue in mind. So technology has to keep that in focus. So this one venture where we have raised $3.5 million, we have been able to dish out loans to the tune of about 100 crores, customized loans for small and medium marginal farmers, and also able to provide insurance and cattle advisory services. The second one is a very interesting fintech company where technology is used very innovatively for doing KYC at 1/5 the cost of the current KYC processes, using digitally, scraping the accounts and doing all the other things which are required, verification, all the things are done. And also there's a person who goes, when there's a field visit which is required, the person goes with a Google Pro camera and is able to see who are the people, what is the house, all that is recorded, and that goes again into the blockchain and is available for multiple players. The shared economy is very crucial in fintech delivery. Each person can't be doing the same thing all over again. So shared economy will be very crucial. So this we are able to achieve, KYC, and also using AI/ML. The current credit ratings are not very dynamic. We are able to achieve very dynamic credit rating without the delay which is typically existing in the current systems. We are able to do it much better. So this is another story of a fintech company which is doing currently, providing services to close to 2,000 crore disbursals. So very, very many interesting intersection of various domains and fintech is happening, and it's more likely to get customized deliveries for each vertical would happen. So it's a very interesting space, and not only for consulting, but also for bringing that cost efficiencies and for advising the companies in the right manner in terms of the unit economics is where we all would play a very crucial role. I would like to thank ICMAI for giving me this opportunity, and I'm very happy to witness the soft power of not only our country, but also our association. The Institute, ICMAI, has been able to prove its soft power through this wonderful, event, which is for the first time I understand is residential, and the scale is amazing. I would like to congratulate the entire team, the president, to each and every, the last office bearer, and to all of you CMAs for putting up such a good show and showcasing the soft power of CMAs. Thank you so much.